Hey, what's up, everybody? Rohit Raju here. We are going to be talking about Squid Game Season 2. Was it needed? This is another Raju's Rants, so thanks for joining us. Joining me, I should say. I really enjoyed the first Squid Game. I think, like a lot of people, it was lightning in a bottle. It was so well done. I got invested in the characters. Man, I was shedding tears during the marble game, and when they eliminated, some very key characters. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And then like the little twist at the end, and we will be talking spoilers, obviously, for season 1 and 2. But I just thought it was really well done. It was good. It was unique. It was fresh, and it did kind of capture the imagination of a lot of people, and it captured the attention of a lot of people, even American people. I've always been a fan of Asian cinema, so when I've seen Lee Jung Jae in a few things, but what's his face? And I might be. Trust me, I'm probably going to pronounce the names wrong, so I apologize. But Lee Byung Hoon, I've seen him, and obviously, if you're familiar with GI Joe, the ones with Channing Tatum, he was Storm Shadow in GI Joe. But I was a fan of his. I saw him in Bittersweet Life. It's a Korean. He's like a hitman for the Korean mafia, and he ends up falling in love with the boss's girlfriend. And man, that movie was fucking excellent. They never brought it over here to the States. I had a bootleg version, and I let someone borrow it, and I never got it back. I'm so pissed about that because that was one of my that was one of my favorite movies. And of course, he was in I Saw the Devil with I forgot the actor's name, but he was also in Old Boy. And that movie was just insane. Man, I don't know if you guys seen I Saw the Devil, but he plays a cop where his pregnant wife, I believe, gets killed by this serial killer, and he does whatever it takes to hunt down this serial killer and fuck with him, and the whole time, and it's just to get his revenge. And it's such a good movie. If you haven't seen that, give that a shot. I'm a fan of subtitled movies. I like to watch like my anime subtitled, any of the besides if it's like if it's old Hong Kong movies, I'll like Hong Kong kung fu movies. I'll watch those dubbed just because it's like a guilty pleasure. But most things I try to watch subtitled when it comes to foreign cinema or TV shows. So after season 1 ended, obviously it ended with Ji-hoon, Lee Jung Jae's character, going back, not getting on the plane to see his daughter. He wants to end the games. And I was like, okay, cool. I really want to see what they're going to do with this season 2. So I was like, man, it seems like it might be a cash grab. I don't know how I feel about this. And the first episode, it got serious really, really fast. When what's his name? I can't remember. He's the guy, the recruiter, the guy that's playing that game in the subway with everybody. And, he's playing that game where you have the blue and the red cards. You have to slam them down, and every time, if you fail, he slaps you, and to see if you want to play it again. That guy, he ends up getting tailed by these debt collectors that Ji-hoon ends up hiring. And they find the guy, but he ends up finding out that they're tailing him, and he beats the crap out of these two. And then he ends up having them play this game, and he ends up, one gets killed. And then one of the guys that, he has him tied up, and he goes and gets Lee Jung Jae's character. And I can't remember if it's Ji-hoon or Gi-hoon, so please, I apologize if I'm saying these names wrong. But he gets his character, and they end up playing Russian roulette, and it's very, very tense, really good. And then, he ends up, Lee Jung Jae is like, hey, are you a dog for these people, or are you your own man? He goes, you could just kill me if you wanted to. He says the same thing about Lee Jung Jae. He's like, you have 2 bullets, you could just shoot me right now, or are you going to be a stand-up guy and play this game? I would have just shot the dude. That guy was a piece of shit. They showed him like torturing homeless people. Not torturing, but like mentally torturing them, where you could either have this lotto ticket or you could have this honey bun or whatever he was giving them. And then everyone would always pick the lotto ticket, and then he took all the honey buns afterwards and like stomped on all of them in front of everybody, like just real dick move. So when this guy ended up losing the Russian roulette game, and Lee Jung Jae said, "Hey, you got one more bullet. You can either shoot me, be a dog, be their lap dog," and he means like the powers that be that control the game, or you can, be a man of honor and shoot yourself. And he shoots himself, which is really really cool. Not cool that he shot himself, but just that scene was insane. And Lee Byung Hoon, he plays the front man, who's like kind of like the leader on the island, but his brother, I think it was, man, was it Hwang Jun Ho? I can't remember his name, but his brother was a cop, and he ended up finding him in the first season because he knew his brother. He thought his brother was still alive, and he ends up finding out that his brother is alive, and then his brother shoots him in the arm, and he falls into the water, and his story ends up, he gets picked up by this boat captain, and long story short, he's constantly looking for the island, and I kind of figured the boat captain was in on it too, and the boat captain is part of the people that are running the game. So, but he's still looking for his brother. He ends up hooking up with Ji-hoon, and again, I'm going to say Ji-hoon or Gi-hoon. I'm going to go back and forth with that name, so I apologize. But he ends up meeting up with him. They realize, hey, they have a common bond, so they get there. Ji-hoon has the money that he won from the game, and he's been paying all these people to help him find the island because he wants to stop the game. And so they end up combining their forces, and they end up, Ji-hoon ends up, they track him down to this nightclub because they're tracking some people down, and he ends up getting in a car following one of the guards that wear a mask. And it's pretty cool. He ends up getting, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna, send me back, put me back in the game. And he had like a little thing in his mouth, like a fake tooth that was supposed to be a tracker. But when he gets there, he ends up finding that they got rid of it, and he leads the first group of people in this game, which is the red light, green light game, and he ends up helping a lot of people, but then they switch it on him, and they end up changing all the games. So there's all new games that he doesn't know how to play. And during this, which I thought was a silly part in the show, because the old man from the first one that was running the whole thing, his number was 001, and then all of a sudden the front man ends up joining the game, and his number 001, and Ji-hoon doesn't expect anything weird about that. It's like, bro, you should not trust this guy right off the bat. But he ends up trusting him and all this stuff, even after the front man accidentally says his name. And it's cool to see. It's a cool dynamic because you can see, like, the front man, there's times to where it looks like he is, like, genuinely loses himself in the moment, and he's trying to help people out. And then there's times too where he's like, no, I'm going to show you that people are greedy pieces of shit. And of course, like always, you have like your split teams of people that want to win the game and the people that want to go home. And the cool thing they did this time is that they had people vote at the end of every game to see if they wanted to go home or not. And there's just a lot of really well-built tension there. Some friendships being hurt by it, or there's a mother and son team. The son has been fucking up with gambling debts, and his mother ends up trying to go to help him out, and he didn't know that, so he's like, Mom, what are you doing here? Ji-hoon has his best friend that he sees, one of his good friends is there. There's just a lot of great characters. I will say this, the rapper dude named Thanos, I guess, or Thanos, he's fucking horrible. And it's just because it's like, I guess the way they rap over there is kind of cool, but he even has his fingernails painted different colors, like he has all the Infinity Gems. And it's like, they may think it's cool over there, but man, he comes across so corny to me. Like, just that over-the-top high school bully, 80s bully villain. And he's just, spoiler alert, I was so happy when he got killed. But there's a lot of cool characters in there. There's this one girl that you end up meeting. She's like, she does like this, she plays like a mascot character, almost like a Disney character in this parade, and for like these sick kids, and she ends up feeling bad for one of these sick kids, and you think when she's approached that she's going to play the game, But actually, she is one part of the guards there. She used to live in North Korea, and she lost her daughter. So she's been trying to find her ever since, and she hasn't been able to do it. There's a dude that has player 333. He screwed everybody out of crypto. There's 388, who I think his name is Daeho. He's like this fake. I don't know if he's fake or not, but he's supposed to be a Marine. But he has like either PTSD, like when the end comes, he has PTSD to where he's supposed to be helping out, but he freezes up. So I don't know if he's just a fake Marine or never really did anything, or he does have PTSD. Then there's the guy whose daughter is sick. He ends up being in the game too because he's trying to do anything to protect his or help his daughter out. And then number 11, who's the guard, sees him and kind of protects him here and there. And it happens at the end, like they have this coup where a bunch of the game players, led by Ji-hoon, they end up attacking the guards, getting guns, and trying to storm the place. And he gets shot at the end, but they kind of cut away, so it almost, I wonder if it's her that does it, and she shoots him like in a part where it's not, end game. Then there's this trans character, number 120. I thought she was awesome. The way, like, she was a former, I think she was, I forgot who, she was in the military. She's like super badass. But I guess there was like a weird backlash because the character is played by a straight male. To me, it's an actor. You know what I mean? It's, the whole purpose is to act. It's like when Brendan Fraser and even Colin Farrell, they were in fat suits for these roles as the Penguin and the Whale. It's like they're actors. They're playing this role. So I never take any offense to that. Like, I don't think people get kind of that blown out of proportion sometimes. It's, the person is an actor and he's acting. So, but she's great in that. I think she really grows on me. She was awesome. Of course, there's the mother and son team. I know that mom's gonna end up dying in one of these episodes, and God, that's gonna suck when she does, or both of them will, because she's such a sweet, caring old lady, and she's a mother, a good mother, and it's like, man, and she cares about people in the game, and so I know when she goes, that's gonna suck. There's of course his best friend that's in it, Ji-hoon's best friend. There's a girl that's pregnant that she used to date the crypto guy, and the crypto guy kind of was like, hey, you should have an abortion, but she doesn't end up doing it, so she goes there to help pay for, like, her bills and her hardships to try to, get past that. There's a weird, like, shaman chick who, I sense all these spirits, and she ends up being, like, really shitty at the end. There's, like, this cowardly dude. You think he's going to rise to the occasion, and he doesn't. There's a rapper, Thanos, and he has a little cohort dude, and they have, like, drugs. They snuck drugs on there somehow, and they both take it. They're like the weird bully kids. There's a girl that they end up not befriending, but she's with their group. She's, like, kind of the tough chick. Her ending, that sucked for her. Like, sometimes when people die on there, you're like, man, that sucks. It, like, when she gets killed, the cowardly dude, like, she befriended him, and you're like, oh, this is it. He's going to finally step up and help her out. No, he just watches her get killed because he was too scared. So that instantly makes you kind of, like, okay, if he dies, he dies. It's whatever at this point because he had his chance to step up and he didn't. Of course, the recruiter's in there. But it's just really good. There's a new guy. I can't remember his name, but he's like the new, not really the front man, but he's right under the front man, and he's kind of handling things, and he has a relationship with number 11, who's like the guard, that female guard that's trying to help that kid. Well, I don't know if she's trying to help that kid or not. I really don't know what she's doing. I think she is. That's what she's doing. Probably trying to get another payday. But it ended up being really, really good. Like, I think it was way better than it had any purpose being. I really felt like this was just a cash grab. They kept it to where it was very familiar but new at the same time. It was the perfect blend to how a sequel should be. They kept the ball rolling, they kept evolving, but they kept some of those things that you remember, and they did it real well. It just wasn't like callbacks. A lot of other shows and movies can learn from this because they did it really well. Like I watched Gladiator 2 and I didn't like that at all. I thought that movie was so hollow and just ugh. Wasn't a fan of that, but this I think did it right. I hope Shogun does this. I worry that because Shogun doesn't need a season 2. But they're doing a season 2 for that, so I'm hoping it's not just a cash grab. I really hope that's not the case. The only thing I didn't like about this is they say it's a season 2. It was only 7 episodes, and it ended with a cliffhanger, but it felt like it was a season 2 part 1. It just felt like, and a lot of streaming services have been doing that to where they kind of put out a half-ass season, very short, and they're like, oh, this is that season, and then there's like a break, and then you gotta wait until the next season. However, I believe both seasons were shot back to back, so the next season we shouldn't be waiting too long for that. And I hope they end it, but I heard that there's a bunch of spin-offs that they're gonna do. Apparently this doesn't take place just in Korea. There's going to be like the international game. So there's going to be one made in America. And I think they want David Fincher to do that. I don't want them to do a remake. I think it's insulting to the Korean one to do a remake of that like they did with Oldboy. It's like, it's already good. You don't need to remake this. But if this is like, oh, it's a different story that takes place in a different part of the world, I'm all for that. And David Fincher's been, he's excellent. So, he's done a lot of great stuff. One of his more recent ones was The Killer with Fassbender, which I really liked. So there's a lot of good stuff with this season. My only complaint is it was really short and they ended it on a cliffhanger. But, man, I thought it was really good. I love the first season. Didn't think it needed a sequel. But this one had me like, oof. The tension was there. You never know who's going to die. And it feels like someone can die anytime they're playing a game. So I liked it really, really well. I love the evolution of Ji-hoon. He went from this cowardly character to being like this hell-bent, tough, like he wants to end the game, and now he's like a righteous person. He wants to do the right things. He wants to help people. And that's such a cool, his arc was so well done. It's like, it's how it should be. It's like literally you see the character change in real time, and now we come back to him, and it's like a few years later, and he's just very like he's obsessed now. He's obsessed with freeing people and helping people and just stopping this game, and it's such a good character evolution for this guy. And you even see that now with like the recruiter is he does something to where he infiltrates the game like the old man did in the first season, but at the end, like there's hints of him like, is he really trying to help them out? Is he really feeling happy because he's they're cheering him for what he just did, or is it all a facade? And then at the end during the coup, he does take back control, but Ji-hoon doesn't know that it's him. So he's still going to be. I'm taking he's still going to be in the game once the next season comes out. But I can't wait. I've been watching a lot of theories and like videos on that, so that's always fun to speculate and see what's going to happen next. It's building that world, and I like that. I think it's really cool, and I didn't think it needed a season 2, but here we are, and it was great. So what'd you guys think? Did you enjoy Squid Game season 2? And let me know. Sound off on the comments. If you haven't watched it, please do. Squid Games 1 and 2 are excellent. Highly recommend it. And watch those movies I was talking about. Bittersweet Life and I Saw the Devil. Fantastic movies. All right, guys. Let me know what you think. Take care.